This evening, bodies of toddler and preschooler retrieved following capsizing of boat in the Pomeroon River. 3 dilapidated bridges in Sophia will be rebuilt. New Demerara Harbour Bridge to be completed within 2 years. In the region, Peru political crisis as poor communities demand change, and internationally, Indonesia's new criminal code outlaws insulting the president. Welcome to another broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Updates. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. Ranks of the Ghana Police Force are investigating the tragic drowning death of 2 children in the Pomeroon River on Monday, December 19th. The bodies of 5-year-old Roshana Atkinson and 1-year-old Josiah Atkinson were discovered around 2:30 this morning after the boat they were traveling in capsized Monday night. Region 2 Police Commander Kemraj Shifbaran has confirmed. Inquiries disclosed that the incident occurred at around 8:30 hours in the vicinity of St. Monica. Reported that 33-year-old Bishnath Atkinson and his wife, 23-year-old Navita Atkinson, were traveling home in the boat powered by a 75-horsepower Yamaha outboard engine when it collided with a floating object. Reports further stated that neither parents nor children wore life jackets, and a cell phone flashlight was used to gain vision. The children were asleep at the time of the incident. The man and his wife managed to swim to shore and reported the incident to the Chishao of St. Monica, Eve Samuels. As a result, a search party was activated and a search was conducted for the children. Subsequently, their bodies were recovered around 2:30 this morning. The Ministry of Housing and Water is investing $3.8 million to reconstruct 3 dilapidated bridges between Section B and C, Turka and Sophia, Georgetown, that leads to the Bright Futures Daycare, Preschool and Nursery School. Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Susan Rodriguez, visited the site on Monday along with a team from the Central Housing and Planning Authority and representatives from 4G's Construction Services. Minister Rodriguez stated that education delivery and adequate infrastructure plays a fundamental role in the development of children and is therefore a vital part of the government's program and policies.
This is in keeping with our objective, as we have made public before and as recently highlighted by Vice President Jaglio, that we want to ensure that all of the accesses to schools in the coming years, we want to ensure that all of the bridges and the accesses to school, bridges, footpaths, and so on, to schools across the country will be fixed as a priority for our children.
Materials are on the ground and the reconstruction of the 3 new timber bridges will commence immediately. The minister stated that these works are expected to be completed within the next 2 weeks. Minister Rodriguez first visited the site on December 9, 2022, following the commissioning of the area's $51 million multi-purpose facility. She was made aware of the issue by some of the teachers and other residents. During Monday's visit, the principal of Bright Futures Daycare, Preschool and Nursery School, Sahoja Stevenson, expressed satisfaction with the quick response from the minister. She said the school, which currently has over 60 students, was established in 2023. Over time, the bridges became deplorable, and she and other teachers at the school explored several avenues to have the matter addressed, to no avail.
We are very, very grateful for this because the bridge doesn't only serve the school, but it serves the entire environs. We have C Field, we have D Field, we have E, we have Plum Park, we have Liliendal, and we even have people coming from Gaihawk. I have parents who travel all the way from there to come to bring their children to daycare. So we're very, very grateful that we're having new bridges.
Stick around after the break. Government to invest $125 billion to upgrade Hinterland health facilities and the new Demerara Harbour Bridge to be completed within 2 years.
Last year, we couldn't celebrate Christmas as we wanted to, so for this year, we had everything planned. 100,000 watts of lights, 10 feet tall tree. The best table ever. Custom t-shirts, live shows, DJ. And we also had Uncle Mario, who forgot the KFC buckets in the car with the keys inside.
Step back!
This Christmas is to be enjoyed no matter what. Let's savor this Christmas.
Shop at John Lewis Styles in December, and you could win one Amazon Echo Show every day. Yes, every day. And that's not all. 4 persons will win $500,000 to spend in the store. Just imagine $500,000 to spend on clothing, footwear, watches, fragrances, handbags, luggage, and accessories. So shop now at John Lewis Styles to win one Amazon Echo Show every day and $500,000 to spend in the store. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
Give your home or office some shine. Fortune Investment Company. We provide reliable commercial and residential professional cleaning services in Guyana. We clean homes and commercial offices. Other services offered are floor care and tile polishing, interior auto detailing services, power washing, weeding and cleaning, and carpet, couch, and mattress cleaning. We are committed to keeping your homes and offices squeaky clean. Call us now at 592-689-7558 or 592-639-6365 or visit us at 3430 Jackson North Rumville, Georgetown, Guyana. Fortune Investment Company. When we say clean, we mean spotless.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. According to Vice President Bar Jagdeo, the new Demerara Harbour Bridge, being built by China Railway and Construction Corporation International Limited, is still on track for completion within the next 2 years. The Vice President said that work on the $261 million new bridge has already started. He noted that the timeline for the bridge would coincide with several of Ghana's other major transformational projects. These projects include the Gas to Shore project from the west coast of Demerara Shore to Wales on the west bank of Demerara and the new 4-lane highway from Schooner to Prane. According to Jagdeo, there have not been any time slippages in any of these major projects. The new bridge will be a fixed 2.65 kilometers 4-lane highway span, cable-stayed structure across the Demerara River. It will feature a bicycle lane, bringing an end to vehicular traffic closures, with a 50-meter fixed high span to cater for the free flow of vessels uninterrupted. A contract for the bridge was awarded to a joint venture led by China Railway and Construction Corporation Limited, which outbid 4 other pre-qualified international companies that submitted proposals for the project. Already, the Ghana government has allocated some $21.1 billion in 2022 budget towards work on the bridge. It will have a lifespan of 100 years. This new bridge will replace the aging floating Demerara Harbour Bridge. Residents in the Hinterland can expect improved healthcare services as the government intends to invest more than $125 billion to support critical upgrades to hospitals in Region 1, 7, 8, and 9 over the next 3 years. President Dr. Mohamed Irfanali made this announcement on Monday while delivering the feature address at the commissioning of the new Smart Hospital at Mabaruma Region 1. Health facilities across the 4 regions will be targeted. President Ali said of the $125 billion, about $4.1 billion will be spent on the infrastructure upgrades at Maruka, Mabaruma, and Port Kaituma. He stressed that some facilities are not up to par and lack basic amenities, which must be changed. While facilities in those areas continue to benefit from infrastructural upgrades, President Ali said resources are also being earmarked for training health professionals who operate these facilities. Notably, he said, all the facilities will also receive the necessary equipment to provide critical services to the public. Steps will be taken to ensure essential medications are available at all health institutions. The upgrade forms part of the government's strategy to transform Ghana's health system to provide world-class services to citizens. Don't go away after the break. Indonesia's new criminal court outlaws insulting president, and India protests. Thousands of farmers demand government support.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Ghana. From the moment you enter our stores, you're welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries, and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. However, Maison Francois is more than just chocolate. We serve lunch, dinner, afternoon tea, and even Sunday morning mimosa brunch. Our convenient location at 133 Thomas Street, Kitty, makes it the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. Treat yourself with the taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown. Only at Maison Francois.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Shop at John Lewis Styles in December, and you could win one Amazon Echo Show every day. Yes, every day. And that's not all. 4 persons will win $500,000 to spend in the store. Just imagine $500,000 to spend on clothing, footwear, watches, fragrances, handbags, luggage, and accessories. So shop now at John Lewis Styles to win one Amazon Echo Show every day and $500,000 to spend in the store. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. Peru has been living through a political crisis since former President Pedro Castillo was impeached and jailed last week after attempting to dissolve Congress. But aside from the immediate causes of protest, there are deeper underlying issues. Al Jazeera's John Holman has more.
We met Eber Cardenas at one of the marches that have erupted in Peru since the impeachment and imprisonment of ex-President Pedro Castillo. But those protests are about much more than one man. Many Peruvians are angry at their entire political class. Eber wanted to show us why. He invited us back to his neighbourhood. This is Buena Vista, on the outskirts of Lima, where he lives with his wife Yodita and their 4 children. Just 40 minutes from the high-rise buildings and chic restaurants of the capital. Here, there are no sewage pipes, no hospitals, no schools, no paved roads. There's no running water either. This is the family's cistern. They have to pay for a water truck which comes once a week to fill it. It's seldom enough.
There are days in which their children can wash and days they can't. When there's no more water, we help each other between neighbors.
Afterwards, I sat down with Ebba in the family home. The roof's partly made of tarpaulin. One of the walls is the side of the hill. It's a small monument to the country's gaping inequality.
If it rains, this hill could collapse at any moment. It could fall and hurt my children. But what can we do? It's the only home we have.
It's obvious that children and their education are the centre of this house. Ebba works in construction 12 hours a day to keep them fed and uniformed. But the nearest school for his son Stephen is an hour away via foot, motor taxi and bus. The community's desperate for a local school. They've set aside this land, filed paperwork. They say authorities even agreed to build it. They say that was 5 years ago. The plot still looks like this.
The politicians come just to get our vote. They say we're going to get you water, a health clinic, and it never happens. Nothing happens. Look at our community. This is the reality for so many Peruvians who have gone out to march.
A quarter of Peruvians live in poverty. The same pleas and complaints play out in a multitude of shanty towns and forgotten rural villages. Why do you think the politicians haven't answered the call for hospitals, for schools, for the things that you need here?
Because those who govern us have always been corrupt. They start projects and hold them up for years to complete them, inflating the budget. They've always done it. We have resources, but they take them, and the people are left forgotten. That's why they're angry.
That anger is still spilling out onto the streets in a nation that's felt let down by their politicians for too long. John Holman, Al Jazeera, Lima.
More. Internationally, human rights activists in Indonesia are concerned a new criminal code will stifle free speech in the world's third largest democracy. Anyone perceived to be insulting the president could face jail time. Al Jazeera's Jessica Washington reports.
For more than a decade, Tony Malakian has painted some of Indonesia's best-known politicians for national newspapers and magazines. He's known for his unflattering depictions of political elite, including the president.
I can draw, and I have a perspective about human rights in Indonesia, so I just, I show my feelings, my expression, my speech as a freedom. As my human rights feelings, I just show it with drawings, cartoon, caricature.
But work like this could land the artist in trouble in coming years. Under the new criminal code ratified earlier this month, anyone perceived to be insulting the president, vice president or a state institution could be imprisoned for 3 years, or longer if the offence is on a digital platform.
I think this is, a serious turn towards the dark side of Indonesian politics, which is an authoritarian turn. So we have to think how to roll back, how to push back this maneuver.
Many fear critical reporting will be construed as an insult.
Some activists, journalists and political commentators have raised concerns the vague wording of the law might contribute to selective enforcement and create a climate of fear as it's unclear what can and cannot be said.
The Ministry of Law and Human Rights says the government welcomes criticism and has promised to clarify uncertainties about the hundreds of articles in the code during what it calls a socialization period. Under the law, people will need permission before organising a demonstration or risk 6 months behind bars. Journalists can also be jailed for distributing news that's considered unverified, exaggerated or incomplete. Some human rights lawyers are planning to challenge the law.
The exercise of freedom of expression, which is also critics to our government, whether it's bad performances, it's bad services and so on, which also done by the very grassroots people in Indonesia.
Even if attempts to change the code are unsuccessful, Tony says he won't stop speaking out. His latest comic shows how those who challenge the criminal code may become its victims. Jessica Washington, Al Jazeera, Jakarta.
And finally, thousands of farmers in India have rallied to demand more state subsidies and financial support as the cost of living rises, Al Jazeera's Pavni Patel reports.
An impromptu dance has broken out at this rally in New Delhi. The song comes from the western state of Rajasthan, one of the many regions represented here. Thousands of farmers from across India have gathered to demand the government lower taxes on fertilizers and other agriculture equipment and increase financial support.
We want prices that earn us a profit. Right now we are not recovering our costs. We are buried deep in debt. For 3 generations we have only been passing on debts.
The sector is reeling from multiple crises, including extreme weather patterns and reduced output. This demonstration was called by a union with close ties to the governing BJP. It comes months after farmers ended a year-long protest against 3 laws they said left them worse off and benefited big corporations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi finally revoked the legislation in November 2021.
Rising costs and falling incomes are at the core of farmers' concerns. They're demanding guaranteed higher prices for their produce. Earlier this year, the government set up a committee to address their concerns. Some unions have called these meetings insincere and have boycotted them.
Committee members say they're considering a combination of policies to resolve long-standing issues.
Ultimately, we have to remember one thing. For farmer, it is his crucial concern is the bottom line. What is he getting out of that? So we have to ensure that farming remains viable for him without losing sight of these other objectives, that natural resource degradation and also the agricultural growth and food security.
Most Indians live in rural areas and nearly half the working population makes a living from agriculture. Analysts say policies need to be more inclusive.
So I think constant dialogue, but not think at the national level, think at the local level, think at the regional level. State governments need to be involved, local level activists need to be involved, and farmers leaders need to be trusted as stakeholders rather than as people who are only disruptors.
India will hold a general election in 16 months, and some observers say it could give farmers the upper hand in negotiations. Pavni Mittal, Al Jazeera, New Delhi.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. That is all for this edition of Channel 2's Headline News Update. Tune in on Wednesday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.